I bet some of you recall me posting this thing on the community tab. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've done a couple of reviews since then. One of them was on Sony's newest Pro controller, which is almost a 10 out of 10. But imagine for a second, if you will, making a $200 Pro controller and it's only really usable, at least easily, on one device. This makes the DualSense Edge the worst controller in the entire universe. It doesn't have support for PC or PS4, at least first-party support, because now that it's rich and famous, it doesn't have to care about such things. This offends me personally, and I will be making a stink about it because American.jpg, I don't know. So like my dad, the DualSense Edge will be sneaking its way out of here, and I'll be replacing it with a controller that I built myself. I'm just kidding, by the way. My dad didn't sneak out, he left in broad daylight. For around $100, you can have a wireless Pro controller with 2 extra buttons. Add just a few more dollars and you have clicky triggers, bumpers, a D-pad, and action buttons.
Pop it a little more.
Okay, add a few more dollars, and now you magically have USB-C, completing what I call the DualSense Edge Alpha Edition. If you wanted, you could also go for something like a stick drift fixed PCB, but for this video in particular, I wanted to completely avoid soldering altogether. The barrier of entry for this video is low. There's going to be no upgrades here that feature soldering. I did just mention PCBs, and speaking of those, I will be giving 10 of them away at the end of this video. These are again the custom channel-themed PS4 USB-C conversion boards, and they were made by the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. Also Marius, can't forget him. Thank you again, by the way. PCBWay does custom PCB assembly, but they also do CNC machining and some 3D printing, all of which you can get instant quotes for on their website, which is linked in the description below. They have over a decade of experience with endless positive reviews, so be sure to check them out when making your own projects. A huge shout out to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, as sponsoring me, I'm aware, slightly risky business. So there's 2 avenues here, one where you consider the price of the DualShock 4, and one where you don't. This is because some people already have a DualShock, and if you already have one, this knocks the price down by about half. The cost of all the upgrades on their own is only about $65, which is around the same price as a brand new DualShock 4. Joining these two numbers, you get the cheapest wireless PlayStation Pro controller available. The majority of the wireless controllers coming from either PlayStation or Xbox are between $160 and $200, so the DIY route, definitely fruitful for a DS4. What I've put together here is something that the vast majority of people will be able to do. It's a very simple creation. The 2 back buttons clip right on. They're only $30 on Amazon new. The USB-C conversion is $15, which requires a little bit of disassembly, but it's nothing a novice couldn't do. And the Clicky kit, which includes clicky bumpers, triggers, a D-pad, and action buttons, while a bit irritating to install, is, wait for it, $20. And I'm very excited for that, but I'm going to start with the back buttons, which I have done in my own separate video on these. I'll have that up in the top right-hand corner, but in short, the back buttons are a bit bulky, but they're very, very far from the most uncomfortable buttons I've ever used. The pack also comes with a headphone jack, so you can use your headphones wirelessly, but only on PlayStation. If you're on PC, you have to be wired. And just to flex their massive cock, they put a screen on the back, just for remapping the buttons. For $30, considering you can use it wirelessly and it's not built nearly to the same standard of quality as the Strike Packs, which are this upgrade is absolutely a no-brainer if you're interested in a DualShock 4. This is my favorite upgrade. Out of all the upgrades here, this is the most difficult one to install, but it's still not difficult. You just have to be careful with it, but once it's installed, it's a wonderful experience. The D-pad and action buttons have an extremely short travel distance, the bumpers finally don't feel like shit, and the triggers are perfect for shooters. There is not a better upgrade out there for a controller at $20. It changes so much about the experience, and like I said, it's not that difficult to install. And it becomes a lot more interesting when you start speccing out controllers from custom controller makers that have the same features like clicky bumpers, triggers, buttons, D-pad. You gotta understand, those fucking things aren't cheap. This is cheap. And the cheapest upgrade here is obviously going to be the PS4 USB-C board. And I did this because micro USB isn't very DualSense-y, so I had to convert it to religion real quick. Installation is way easier than the clicky button kit, and that's an upgrade I'm positive literally anyone could do. The most difficult part is enlarging the port using either a file or sandpaper or a knife, and getting the port to be able to fit the board. Other than that, it's a smooth experience, and the one you're seeing on screen now is custom made for the channel, and if you'd like to enter a giveaway to win one of the 10 I'm going to be giving away, I should probably write these better. Leave a comment using the hashtag PS4 USB-C, as well as which controller version you have. I have boards for JDS 40, 50, and 55. 10 winners will be chosen on May 31st, so be sure to enter until then. I'll be announcing the winners on the community tab here on YouTube. All of these upgrades are worth looking into on their own, but when doing so, be sure you're building a controller for you. That's what DIY is all about. Make something suited to your needs with the features you're looking for, and in the process, you'll save yourself a few bucks and pick up a couple of skills. If you're decent at soldering, you could even do some more advanced shit if you'd like to. That includes, upgrades to reliability or more complicated button upgrades or this, that, or the other. Or you could do crazy shit like this. Not entirely sure why you want to, but you can. My favorite upgrade out of everything we've talked about is, like I said, the Clicky kit, but the most useful is probably going to be the USB-C kit. The back buttons, for people who are looking to maybe just have back buttons, if you're on PC or PS4 or even PS5 playing PS4 games, which you're probably doing that because there's not many PS5 games, the back button attachment to this day is still a wonderful purchase. And since it only has 2 buttons, it provides a very, very true DualSense Edge experience. In fact, the experience would be 1-to-1 if this controller had a warranty, but if you're taking it apart, it's not going to have a warranty. In fact, the only thing here that's going to have a warranty is the back button attachment, I believe. No one gives a fuck about warranties. This is a DIY video. And in my next DIY project, I'd like to do a PS5 controller. So please, 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 let me know exactly what you guys are looking for. Are you guys looking for something that requires soldering, doesn't require soldering? Let me know what features you're looking for, swappable thumbsticks, paddles, or buttons, or whatever. Just let me know. I plan on doing more DIY projects with different devices in the future, but I also plan on doing more custom controllers that I didn't build. AIM controller review incoming. Not sure when. Doesn't really matter. It's the Xbox controller. It's dog shit.